Hello and welcome to Knitting at Tiffany's episode 4. I am your host Tiffany. Thank you for joining me today. On Ravelry you could reach me at Craft Tea, and on Instagram I'm at Knitting at Tiffany's. Today's episode is called SSK Recap. I went to SSK past week and I wanted to let everybody know what it's all about and talk about it, so we'll do that a little bit later on in the show. I wanted to start off first of all with thanking everyone. There's a world of opals and I have 159 members in our Ravelry group. Thank you so much everyone for joining. I really appreciate it. I look forward to doing some more giveaways, and we'll hopefully do some cows in the future. And if you have any ideas or of things that we should do for cows, please let me know. Message me, you can PM me, you can put it in the group, whatever you like. And if you have any ideas or know anybody that you would like me to contact to promote, please let me know. I've had someone in our group do that, and I am going to get in contact with some people, and we'll get some new promoters on the show so I can show you some new indie dyers or some new button makers or bag makers. So please, people, if you have a favorite out there, let me know. I'm always up to get new people on the podcast. So let's start with diamonds are a girl's best friend. And of course, aren't they always? And you gotta always have a little bit of bling. So this past month for June, June's yarn box, I received art yarns. And I've never used art yarns before, or have really seen them up close and personal. And these ones here are a merino wool, and the other skein is a beaded silk. So here is a beaded silk. I'm not sure if you can really see that. And these are the two colors that I got of the superwash merino. And I know they're a little bit hard to see on here, but there's some greens and pinks, and then there's a fuchsia pink. This is a gorgeous green. This is like almost a leaf green and emerald green kind of mixed in together. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's almost showing you actually the true colors right there. And then this one, not my favorite, but there's yellows and oranges. I'm not even sure if that's a brownish gray with some greens, peach, which I'm not really a fan of. So kind of this end of it, not my thing. I can deal with oranges, I just don't like yellows and reds. There's kind of more of a limey green and emerald green and the pinks and the fuchsias. And this kit here is Art Yarns, and below right here you can find the website artyarns.com. There is a pattern that came with this to do a shawl, and I think I'm going to knit that shawl up. I'm not sure if I'll wear it, but for the fun of knitting it to see what it's going to look like, you never know, I might gift it to someone. I love to knit, and I love to knit texture patterns. I get so bored with a regular stocking stitch or garter pattern. I need something different to do. So this was June's yarn box, and I'm happy with it. I like the mixture of it. If it was just these two, I'd be super ecstatic. So if I had like another of these greens with the gray, I think that'd be great. But something different. Got to get out of your box and try something different, and it's always good to try something different. So I think I'm going to. I also wanted to tell you, I'm sorry I haven't podcasted for a while. We had a death in the family, and it took up a lot of our time, and it was someone really close to my boyfriend and myself, and it was his family actually. And so I apologize that it's been a while that I've podcasted. And so I was trying to podcast before actually I went to SSK a few weeks ago, and that didn't happen. So, but you know what, now we're here and we're podcasting, and I have also diamonds in the rough to talk about, and I have been working on a shawl, and I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. It's called the Theriot, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and actually I should pull it up for you to let you know. who the designer is, because I didn't even do that for you. And it's a paid pattern on Ravelry, and of course, you know, when I need to pull it up now, it just happens to not be working. Gotta love it. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna go back into it. So it is called Vittorio, and it's called Vittorio Shawlette. It is by Corina Ferguson from Picnic Knits, and honestly, I love it. I'm going to show you this picture. And hopefully you can see that with no glare. So it's like a chevron pattern, and I wanted to do something, almost something like the color she has in there. And so I was in the yarn club, Yarn vs. Zombies, and I just finished. And my last shipment came to me a few weeks ago, probably middle of June, end of June almost. And I got this colorway, and it's called Elder Generation. So the club colorways were based on Downton Abbey, and this is from a picture of them. I don't know if you can see that really well. Oh, that's better actually. So it does have oranges and purples and blues, and it's on a sparkly base, and there's a bit of cream in there, and it's knitting up beautifully. So I started this while I was at SSK, I believe, and you don't get really knitting done there, especially when I have to follow a chart. It's just not happening. So these are on US 6 4mm needles. I have to learn my uses. I only know millimeter needles, not US needles. So US 6 4mm needles, and they're the square cubics, I think they're called, needles. I really enjoy knitting with them. I find I get more consistent, more consistency throughout my knitting, not only in my gauge but in my stitches, and I really enjoy knitting with them. But my favorites still are high sharps. No one can beat my circular high sharps. So this is, you can't really tell, but you can see the chevron pattern and how it's coming out. And so I'm loving it. I really am loving this. And once I finish knitting it and I get it all, I guess I'll have to block this one for sure, I'll show you a better picture. I haven't been knitting much, just I've had so much on the go and traveling and stuff, and it's been a little bit tough, so I am probably a little bit behind, and plus, as I mentioned before, I'm a really slow knitter, so that doesn't help me. I mean, I try to knit as much as I can. I'm not one of those people that brings my knitting to restaurants when I go. I can't knit while I work, unfortunately. I wish I could, but I can't. I would love to knit while I work because I have so much time in the day that I work. And so I knit whenever I have a time, and sometimes there's just, I need a wind down time where I just want to sit on the couch and relax and maybe watch TV or a movie. I'm not a big TV person, so or watch a podcast and catch up with some of those. So yeah, I'm a little slow in my knitting, so please bear with me. And as I said, if you ever have some great ideas you want to knit or do cows with, just let me know. I'd love to do something. After this, I'm done this. Lately I've been a monogamous knitter where I tend to knit one thing and finish it and then start another. I don't usually have too many things going on in the needles, but I'm thinking of, I know I mentioned it, I think in my second episode, the stitch surfers. I have all the skis lined up to start them. I just haven't started them yet. I just need time where I can sit down and watch the videos that Diane's done, and I've watched some, but I've forgotten them since then. And so I want to watch them again, and Diane from Knittables, she's put up some stitch surfer how-tos. I think there's 3 videos that you can watch, and she'll tell you how to do them, because she's done, I think, like 15 pairs now, if not even more than that, and they're beautiful. So I want to start that. But I want to finish this first, and I'm really loving it. And as I said, this is Yarn vs. Zombies, and the colorway is Elder Generation, and of course everything's down here. and it is in her Vampire base, and it's 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 5% sparkle, which I love the bling. And trust me, there's more than enough bling in this one. I think it's absolutely perfect. So I'm loving this. This is great, and I'm really loving the yarn to knit with it, and the pattern itself as well. Oh, and the needles are Knitter's Pride Nova Cubics. And actually, I bought these when I was in Webb's in Boston. I think it was back in, oh God, maybe end of January, I think it was, or February. And it was when the big snowstorm was. I got stuck on the interstate highway in that snowstorm. But it was well worth the trip to Webb's. It was my first time ever, and I loved it. And so I bought a couple different sizes of these to try them out. And everybody has their thing about metal needles, but I really enjoy working with metals. Sometimes my yarn, yeah, is really slippery and might slip off the needles, but I'm not too much of a wood and bamboo fan. So, and I've tried Addy Turbos, and they're just not for me. I haven't tried the Chayagus yet. I tried them at the SSK Tasting Room, and I've tried actually Signatures at the SSK Tasting Room. I like them, but to try them there, I actually need to knit a project with them to really know if I would like them or not. But these I've used now for a few projects, and I really, really like them. So they're a great needle for me, and I hold my needles tight, and I don't find that they dig into me because they're square and that they cause me any pain or anything like that. Plus, for people that don't know, I have psoriatic arthritis, so in my fingers, especially in my index finger here and both my thumbs. So I find using those needles really don't irritate it or aggravate it in any way, and I find them very comfortable. So if anybody's interested, try a pair. They're not too expensive at all, and to me, they're worth the money, and they're fun to have around to use. And as I said, you get consistent, or your stitches are more consistent. That's the word I'm looking for, stitches. Your stitches are more consistent. Before I move on to a cut above the rest, I thought we could talk a little bit about SSK. For you people that have never been, it's Super Summer Knit Together, held by the Knit Girls, Laura and Leslie, Lala and You Don't Call Me Les. And it's held in Nashville. Every year they do it around the third week of July, and it is fantastic. This was my third year going, and I loved it. And I could tell you, every year it gets better. I had friends that I've seen for the last 2 or 3 years there, and I met new friends, and I love it. I mean, you have friends of all ages and from anywhere around the world, and it's so much fun. And it's so hard to sit and talk to 150 women within 4 days with classes going on and everything else, but that's where I meet some of my friends. And it's so nice to have new friends and old friends, and you know, you get to keep in touch with them on iMessenger or by email or on Ravelry or Instagram, and especially Instagram. You know, you're posting all your goodies you buy, you're posting all your pictures from SSK, you're posting all the stuff you're working on currently, you're inspiring other people. You know, a lot of people show the pictures of their kids, their pets, their weight loss successes. It's really nice, and I mean, you know what? Teach their own. You follow what you want, you respond to what you want, and you know, it's a free world. Enjoy Instagram. It's all about having fun and good vibes. So this year, Yarn Sniper was my roommate, and Lita's also a really, really good friend of mine. And I've known her now for 3 years, so it's been awesome. And we had such a good time. And Alicia A. Howard, she is my other really, really good friend. And I also known her for 3 years. The three of us met 3 years ago at Camp Kip. And Knitting Lady 54, she was the fourth of our group 3 years ago at Camp Kip. And ever since then, we've all been in contact, and we've been really good friends. And it was so nice to see them. It's been 2 years. I can't believe that. 2 years since I've seen them. And honestly, it feels like yesterday. And I love seeing them, and I'm sad when I have to let them go. I miss my friends. They're not like my friends here that I have on a day-to-day basis. It's so different. You know, they're very supportive. They're always so much fun to be around. I really love being around them. getting to see Laura and Leslie, I mean, they're still my girl crushes. And I'll never forget the first SSK when I walked in, and I was so fan-struck, I just stood there and I couldn't even say a word. And I just looked at them both going, oh my God, I watch you on episodes like every week, and I finally get to meet you in person, and this is so awesome. And finally, I think I took a deep breath and I actually said a word to Laura when she handed me my sign-in bag and everything, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I need to give you guys a hug. And I am a hugger. I love to hug people. So this year, it's now like they're more like friends, and it felt great. And even new people, it's so nice to be able to tell new people, don't stress about going into a retreat. Doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an extrovert, if you're quiet, if you're shy. All you have to say is you're going to this retreat, you start talking to people on Ravelry in the groups, you meet friends, and honestly, I mean, you're all knitters. You have one thing in common at all times, knitting. And who doesn't love to talk about their knitting? If it's not something you're working on, or a yarn, or a color, or just saying the shawl you're wearing is beautiful, it just starts conversations, and that's how you get new friends. And this year, on the shuttle bus, I hopped on the bus with 2 other people, and they were great ladies. One of them's been to a retreat before, and the other one hasn't. And they both know who they are. I'm not sure if I can mention names, so I don't want to say anything on my podcast. But they were super nice. And one of them, it was her first retreat. And I was like, don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, you have me as a friend now. By the time you get there and you check in, you'll have more friends. And the room that you walk into in SSK can sometimes be a little overwhelming for a first time retreat. The room's full of people, and it gets busier and busier as the day goes on, and it fits up to 150 men and women that come to the retreat, and we're all sitting there knitting. And some of us, yeah, we have friends there, and we tend to go over, say hi, and maybe sit with them right away, but others don't. And you just need to say, can I sit here? And people are like, sure, come sit down and join us. And all you do is you move around from table to table to table, talk to different people, get to know people. When you go for breakfast and lunches, sit with different people. Everybody will say, sure, come sit with us. There's not one person that would say, don't sit here. They're not like that at all. You have never anything to worry about. I still do it. I still go around and sit at different tables. And I still go around and ask if I can sit here and join them. I like to meet new people. I love to talk to new people. And I love to have new friends. And I love to know, you know, what people like to knit, and, you know, maybe about their personal life a little bit. I'd like to get to know someone, just more than, you know, their knitting. And this year, oh my God, this year I took 2 classes. So my first class was Thursday afternoon, and it was advanced beads and lace, and it was taught by Laura and Elkin. Now, I just did a Laura and Elkin pattern for SSK. That was our last cal to do. And it was a Claire shawl, which I showed on the previous podcast on episode 3, with beads, and it was my first time doing beads. And let me tell you, if you've never taken her crafty class, take it. It is phenomenal. And you can actually take the link through the Knit Girls website. They have a link on Craftsy there that you can click on, and it takes you into the Craftsy classes, and you can sign up for Laura and Elkin, and it's so worth it. I learned so much about how to read her patterns, how to use beads. Her website actually shows you tutorials, I think they're on YouTube, of how she strung her beads and how to use them either with, you know, a crochet hook or a, she's a dental floss threader. Never would have thought of that, but it's a genius idea, and it works. It really does work. So I loved knitting that shawl. I really did. It's not blocked yet, so I'm not showing it to you. I have to take that to my local LYS, or maybe I'll go out and buy some pads that I was told to at Costco or something, or Target, and order some blocking wires or use some pins and try to block it myself for the first time. We'll see. Haven't bought them yet, so we'll work on that. But honestly, I came in that afternoon class, and of course I was late, which I'm so sorry. I'm usually always late to a lot of things. And I sat down and I listened, and we did a sample swatch, and she was showing us again how to do some more bead techniques and how to use more than one bead. And the woman's a genius, and she's hysterical, and she's beautiful inside and out, and she's so smart, and she's, you know, I can't go on and on and on about her because, I mean, she's now my new girl crush, and actually one of my new girl crushes. And so, but she's just a genius, and the way she does things, and she'll teach you to, or tell you to swatch for shawls, because honestly, it's so true. You know, you're knitting a 300 or 500 or 800 yard shawl. Who wants to run out of yarn? Like, honestly, I wouldn't. Especially if you're knitting something that's specific and you're using a specific kind of yarn that you want to make sure. Swatch for it. Just swatch for it. You know, you're better off to do it at the beginning than get to the end and go, oh my god, and play yarn chicken and not have enough, or have to add a different color. Now, sometimes, you know, if you're using more than one color, different story. You know, go for it. And I'm sure you'll have enough. But some people, you know, if it's just that last bind off row and you have a color close enough or something like that, that's your choice if you want to do that and you want to use something different. I'm a little bit more pickier, so I like to make sure. Now, I didn't swatch for Claris, don't get me wrong, but I knew that I'd have more than enough yarn, and somehow, I think out of the 400 something yards I did have, I used maybe 370, so I knew I'd have enough yarn left over, so it was great. But oh my god, she's phenomenal. And then Friday morning, I took a class with Amy Herzog. Again, this lady blows me out of my mind. She is brilliant too. She's funny. She's also beautiful inside and out. And she truly feels that everybody else is beautiful inside and out as well. And that was really nice to see coming from her. I felt it was very touching. And I loved her. And again, there's my new girl crush. So now I have two new girl crushes. Laura Elkin and Amy Herzog. And they so know it. I think everybody else at SSK did. I was just blown away by their brilliantness. Honestly, they're brilliant, and they're different, but they're brilliant. And Amy taught us how to basically design sweaters to fit you, and how to do your measurement. It wasn't fit to flatter, so it wasn't that, but how to basically take a measurement and make sure that it fits your bust, your shoulders, because that's the most important thing, is making sure a sweater fits up here, because you can always work arms and everything else, and putting darts underneath your bust so that you have that gorgeous hourglass figure. And if you're more of a straight person, you can still get that hourglass figure. And honestly, it doesn't matter what size you are. There was a sweater that we tried on in the tasting room. I think everybody tried on, that Amy made, and honestly, it fit everybody, no matter what shape or size you were, and it looked good on everyone. So, you know, just go and try it. Sign up for her Fit to Flatter too. She has it on Craftsy, and or buy her book, or there's also a website you can go to, and honestly, she's great. And so we went out one night, Saturday night, with one of the girls' birthdays, and we went out to celebrate, and of course I'm the last one to get there. I got back from dinner and then we went out. So we went out to the local bar, and the other table was all the girls drinking, and they were having a blast, and there was no room, but there was room at Laura and Amy's table. So I got to sit with Laura Elkin and Amy Herzog at the bar, just casually having fun and having a drink with them. Actually, I was having sweet tea because I had a really bad migraine, but I sat there and listened to them, and Laura's like knitting away, and I'm like, this girl always knits. I've never seen her not knit. She even knits at breakfast time. Amy was also knitting, and she was trying to unwind a ball of yarn that was a little bit tangled up. So, and it was funny, the two of them together fixed it, and it was perfect. But it was funny to see them together because they're both brilliant. So we started talking about swatching as well, and they were saying like there's different ways to swatch and how many ways, you know, to swatch, and then they were talking about blocking and all this stuff. So I just sat there and absorbed all this information as much as I could without taking notes, because I couldn't really see at a bar to take notes. And just listening to them, honestly, between their amazing personalities and their beauty on their inside and out, and how brilliantly smart they are, I was like, I was in heaven. I was like, this is the best thing that could happen to me on this trip, that I get to sit there with them totally after classes at a bar, just listening to them talk and going back and forth about different techniques and how to do things. And it kind of gave me the confidence that I can go and block now, just from listening to the two of them talk about how to block maybe a shawl or a sweater. And if you ever get to see them in person, go and see them and take the classes from them. You need to. They're brilliant. You'll so learn something from them for sure, and it's something that when you learn from them, you'll have for a lifetime. So do that. Go take their classes. I doubt they're watching this podcast, but if they do, hi Amy, hi Laura. So SSK besides that was great. Opening ceremonies is awesome. The Thursday, Friday classes are amazing. Doing breakfast and lunch are phenomenal. I asked the chef this year to make her cobbler, her berry cobbler, and what did we have on Saturday for lunch? Berry cobbler with brown sugar whipped cream. Oh, it was to die for. I mean, I was in heaven. And I made sure all my friends have tried it. If they haven't, it was phenomenal. Last year she didn't make it, so this is something from like the first SSK. It was amazing. I mean, I wish I could cook like that. Or if I could even take some of it home. It was so good. The weather was good, rained a little bit, and Saturday was market day, and it was a blast. Oh my God, there was so many people there. Leading Men Fiber Arts, Stephen and Andy was there. It was great to meet both of them. Well, it was great to see Steve again. It was amazing to meet Andy. And Callie, Calsters, she came with Stephen as well, and they drove down, so it was really nice to meet her because I watched their podcast. And I met him, at the first SSK, and he's such a sweetheart. And it was so nice to meet Andy, and he's just a sweetheart just as much. And I could see why the two of them are so perfect for each other. And they work so well with each other, and their yarns are beautiful. So I've knit now with their worsted weight, and I've knit now with their fingering weight, and I love both. And I even bought more. I bought their new sport weight yarn, so I'm going to try that out soon. And I just got to find a pattern that's worthy for their yarn, and then I'll try that out and let everybody know how that is. I also, I helped out Susan from Desert Vista Dye Works with her booth on Saturday, trying to sell for her. You know me, I love to sell. And so I really enjoyed spending the day with her. She's such a sweetheart. Her yarns are beautiful. Majority of them are self-striping. I'd say probably like 96 or 98% of them are self-striping. She has some variegated in there, and her colors are gorgeous. I mean, there's something for everyone there. It's all over the map, so there's always something you can find for yourself. And there's so much fun. And I even went out of the norm and bought something that was out of my color range. But I'll show you all that on the next episode. And so Jinx Yarns, Laura from Jinx Yarns, oh my gosh, she is such a sweetheart, and she was there with her hubby, and he's so nice too, and they had a beautiful booth, and she's got beautiful yarns, and she's just amazing person. She's really super friendly and nice, and she's so sweet. And so she was there. She was right across from our booth pretty much. Casey, Tangerine Designs, I love Casey, and I love her stuff. She set up her booth like it was a little house, and you're walking into her home, and she had a carpet and everything, and she made you feel so welcome and comfortable, and she had some beautiful stuff, and I'll show you again in the next episode what I got from her. But that girl is so super talented, and she's so creative, and the things she comes up with is genius, really is. Then there was Sarah Ponky, another crafty girl. Now, I love her yarns, and I always buy something from her. I can't not. She always has a colorway I like. Actually, there's always more than one, but she's always got tons of colorways I like. Her yarns are beautiful to knit with. She's a great person. Her and her fiance, John, are super sweet. Honestly, and she makes beautiful colorways, and I mean, her Muppet collection last year was amazing. I don't think I could get enough of that. And this year it was oh my god, I forget the colorways that she did. Wreck-It Ralph, I believe it was. I think so. Anyways, I could be wrong, but check her stuff out. She has beautiful stuff as well. Jelby was there, and of course I always got to get stitch markers from Jelby. I already have a beautiful tin from her, I think from the first SSK, maybe the second, but I'm almost sure it was the first one. And she's got beautiful stuff, and she's also creative and talented. The way she does all that felting and that hand embroidery on like tiny little stitch markers, that's talent and creativeness, and she's great. Miss Babs was there. I actually bought something from Miss Babs this year, and I will talk about that next episode. And I'll show you the yarn. I love it. Oh, Knitting and Color was there. Sarah, oh my God, her stuff is stunning. And if you go and look at Sadie, Sadie's knitting up her colorway in her shawl, and it goes from like, I think is also bling, it's like pink, 2 different types of pink, a blue and a purple or something like that, or up to a black. But oh my God, I had to buy a skein of her yarn. Her stuff is beautiful. And I don't do fibers, but let me tell you, her colors and her fibers were stunning. There was Gail Arts. Gail's Arts, I love her stuff. She did the first SSK grab bag colorway 3 years ago for us. I knit her yarn up in a beautiful cowl, and she's got gorgeous stuff. And her graffiti, her asphalt graffiti, I didn't get my hands on that this year, but that's okay. I could always order it, so I'm not worried. That sold out like hotcakes there. She has beautiful yarns, and she dyes up really beautiful stuff, and so her stuff is great. Absolute Wonder was there, and she's a real sweetheart. I bought some stitch markers from her, excuse me, and I'll show you that as well. She had some beautiful bags, and Fiber Nymph, Lisa from Fiber Nymph, she's got beautiful yarns. She always does. She's got beautiful tonals and self-striping yarn, and she's got gradients. Honestly, she does beautiful stuff. And I believe last year, she had a beautiful SSK colorway, and I ended up buying a couple skeins of that. Not enough to make myself a tank top or anything, because back then I didn't know how much I needed. So I'm just, you know, over the years I learn things all the time, and I found out how much yards I need to make certain things now. So now when I buy stuff for sweater quantities or t-shirts or tank tops, I kind of buy now more on just the yard basage, so that I don't fall short of what I need. I might come close to it, but hopefully not short. Excuse me. And so Fiber Nymph was there. Amy Beth, the Fat Squirrel, speaks. Oh my God, her bags are stunning. So of course I had to get, you know, pre-order the SSK bag, and you know, I have to have it. Like, it's just, that's how the retreat grows. You got to have one that belongs to the retreat. Plus I couldn't resist, and I got a couple more. And I love her bags though. Speaking of it, there it is. I'm using this one. This is the one that's keeping my shawl in it right now that I'm working on. Yes, it doesn't match, but that's okay. I love this bag, and it's awesome, and it's got squirrels on it, and it's purples and pinks and blues, and like, hello, those are so my colors. So her bags are awesome. They're really nicely made as well, and depending on the materials she uses sometimes more of like fabrics that you would use on chairs or couches. Like, it's a little bit thicker, so your bags are a little bit thicker, and they're really, really nice. So yeah, I bought a couple more of her bags, so you'll see those too next episode, and they're awesome, and I can't wait to show you those. Rose Hills Farm was there, and they have some beautiful yarns and fibers, and trying to think of any of the room. Oh, Mustache Yarns was there, and oh my God, she had like this self-striping yarn. I think it was called Sesame Street. It was a 16 self-striper, and it was sold out morning and afternoon. It was a zoo. She had a lineup, but she had some beautiful yarns. Unfortunately, I didn't get to get any. You know, I still kick myself sometimes. There's still a couple vendors there that I wanted to buy some yarns from, but I had a limit this year, and I was trying not to exceed my limit, and sometimes you have to do that. And I try not to buy yarns throughout the rest of the year, but I obviously belong to Yarn Box, so right there I'm spending money. And I was in the Yarn versus Zombies club, and I spent money there, but it was a new club, so I want to try something different. So I had to justify spending all that money there. I had only so much money to spend at SSK, and I still bought stuff, don't worry. I still did damage, it's not like I don't. So yeah, who else am I missing? I know there's some other people and I can't think of it. I'll get the list together for the next episode and let you guys know if there's anybody else I'm missing. I know there's a couple and I apologize. I can't remember them right now. I didn't write them down because I will do that next episode. But market day was phenomenal, and the afternoon you get to come in if you live in the Nashville area or you want to drive there for the SSK market day. You're more than welcome to, and I believe there's a fee, but I'm not sure how much it is, but it's well worth it. Honestly, it is well worth it. It's just a blast. It's you know, you go in there knowing what you want and you come out with what you want and plus everything else. And there's always something extra that you might like to see or like to get, so it works out great. And then Saturday night is when you have to say your goodbyes to everyone, and closing ceremonies was great. Everybody, you know, is in the room. You get to win prizes. There's some phenomenal prizes by a lot of people that donate, from indie dyers to button makers to bag makers to stitch markers. This year we had some bigger prizes donated. There was an autographed guitar donated from one of the girls, I think on American Idol or something it was. There was a, the Nashville Predators, one of the hockey players signed off, autographed a flag and donated that. So there was really cool prizes this year. And they raised a lot of money this year. From everybody that was there, they raised a ton of money. I believe last year they raised about $1,800 to donate back to the Scare About Center for Women. And this year I believe was $4,000. So that's huge. Everybody this year that was there was phenomenal. And closing ceremonies are great, but you gotta say your goodbyes, and that's sad. And it's really hard for me to say goodbye to my good friends. I miss them. I miss them already, and it's been only like a week or so since I've seen them, and I miss them already. I miss all my new friends I met, because now I'm not going to see them and get to sit with them and talk with them and, you know, just see how they're doing, how their knitting's doing, what they're doing. But, you know, that's why we have Instagram, and that's why we have Ravelry. And no, I'm not on Plurk. Plurk to me is like Twitter, and I don't do those things. But if anybody ever wants to, you know, iMessage me and talk back and forth that way, please let me know. I have some great friends on there that I keep in touch with. And even if it's once a month or whatever, you know, and you're just like, hey, how are you? What are you up to? Just wanted to check in. I have friends that are like that. It is great, and it keeps me involved with them and knowing what's going on in their lives, and they're not having to post everything all over, you know, social medias all the time for everybody to see. So, but Instagram is probably one of my favorite places. I do love to be on there. I don't know how people are on there 24/7. I mean, I work and it's hard. But I like to go through and see, you know, who's posting what and what they're working on. And I love seeing beautiful projects finished and beautiful projects started and new ideas and the colors you're going to use for your projects. So I really enjoy doing that. And you'll find me on Instagram. So let me go on now. And since I've talked about SSK for a long time, but if just one last thing, if you ever get to do a knitting retreat, go for it. Spend the money. It's so worth it. The amount of friends you get and the knowledge you'll learn from someone there or from a teacher, the fun you'll have, but the friends you make can be lifelong friends, and that's worth it in itself. But the retreat itself is always an experience, and everyone is different, and they always change and they're always better. So go for it. I'm actually going to knitting on our Highlands on the Fly in October for Fibrista Files, which is Heather, and Jet Girl 1313 with it, which is Katie. They hold a retreat together, and it's called Highlands on the Fly, and it's in October in Maine, and I'm going to that one. So if you guys haven't signed up for it, sign up for it. Again, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I believe we leave Sunday. You get there, I think it's Wednesday night maybe again, to Sunday. It's phenomenal. Oh my God, the cabins are amazing. The views are beautiful. The people are so much fun, and the food is great. And also there's great prizes. last year was the first year of that retreat. We had so much fun. We actually drove 14 hours, and let me tell you, it was so picturesque. It was beautiful. It didn't feel like 14 hours, and we had so much fun while we were there. It was incredible. So sign up for that one if you haven't. It's a really great retreat. Fly into it if you need to. It's worth it. It really is. And I believe it's the weekend after Rhinebeck. So if you can't make it to Rhinebeck, which I also suggest you go, at least once in a lifetime, go do Rhinebeck. Come out to Highlands on the Fly. It's excellent. I'll put the Ravelry group down here for you guys, and if there's a website, I'll link the website. I just can't remember it right now, but I'll put it down here. Everything will be down here. So let me move on to a cut above the rest. So Amanda from Siesta Yarns is a new indie dyer. She's also a fellow Canadian who lives in the U.S. and is married to a U.S. Or to American. That made no sense. She's married to an American and has beautiful kids, and she is an indie dyer. She's also creative and talented and does other crafts as well. But she just opened up her shop probably about maybe 2 months ago or so. And CS, like Charlie Sam, dye, DYE.com is her website. It's right down here again, and you can check her out. She does beautiful yarns, and she's always up for new and inspiring colorways. So if there's something that you want to see her do, you know, you never know, she might be looking for a new colorway at the time. Give her suggestions. In my show notes, I will link all her social media names that you can reach her on, through Instagram, through her website. I believe she's on Facebook. So I'll list everything for you on on show notes so that you can find her. And go check her out. I mean, she's got beautiful yarns. And she, sorry, I like to read things to make sure I'm telling you correct information. Of course, again, when I need something on my iPad, it never works. She does shop updates every Sunday, every 2 weeks though. And they're done at 4 p.m. Central Time. So if you're on Central Time, it's 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm on Eastern Standard Time, so I'm good with that. But every second Sunday, she does a shop update, and she always has a new color in there, her current colors, and she's got beautiful, beautiful yarns. She's always adding new colorways, maybe a new base. She also does stitch markers, so if you're looking for that. On Instagram, you'll find sometimes she does giveaways, so keep an eye on her and follow her. I mean, her stuff is beautiful. I think she has about 10 different colors in her shop right now, if not more. Don't forget, she's new, so she is building up. And I know not long ago, I think it was June, she had, I think it's called Wolf Farm and Heart. It was, she said it was a member submission. She was looking for something that was gray and red, and she, in a tonal way, but she wasn't sure and she couldn't come up with a name, so someone actually did for her. And when you do, and you submit your idea, you sometimes, if you're the person that gives her a new name or comes with a new colorway and she likes it and incorporates it into her shop, you never know, you can win something. So, and then she has a new beautiful colorway that's born too, so it's a win-win for everyone. But go check out her shop. Again, here's all the information for her shop. Everything will be listed in show notes, how you can reach her on social media, and I've attached some pictures here. So these pictures here are different colorways of different yarns that she has that I wanted to show you guys, and it just gives you an idea of what colors and of yarn she carries, and you know what she can do, and her talent and her dyeing and her creativeness. So go check her out and find her and purchase some yarn from her. She is offering a coupon code, and this is the coupon code here for her website, and you can make a purchase using that coupon code. It will also state down here when their coupon code is good till. We'll be doing a giveaway for Amanda's Yarns CS Dye, and you could find that thread in the Ravelry group, in my Ravelry group, Knitting at Tiffany's. And I think this time I'd like you guys to go into her shop and tell me what colorway you like and what colorway, or maybe a colorway in a base of yarn, that you would like to see her have in her shop. So 2 questions. What colorway you like that she currently has, and what colorway you would like to see in her shop, and maybe a base, on a certain base that you would like as well. Okay? And that thread will be open up in my group, and you can go in there and submit your submissions and your ideas, and I'll have an idea and I'll put the closing date in the show notes as well, and in the thread, so that you're all aware of when that that giveaway will be closed. So check out Amanda's stuff. I haven't had the luxury yet to knit with her yarns. I'm hoping so soon. And so if anybody has, again, please feel free. Let us know what you think of it, and tell us in the threads of what, why you liked it, and what color you're working with, and what you're making with it. So in episode 3, you can put that all in there and let us know. Otherwise, as I said, go check out Amanda Siesta and buy some of her yarns and enjoy it, and try something different, maybe a new colorway, something totally out of your realm. Enjoy it. Work out of the box. Not always does it have to be something that, is your favorite colorway. I'm trying to do that myself, so I am taking my words here. And I'm trying to buy things that are out of my colorway. As I said, I'm using a little bit different colors these days, and doing some things different than I normally would. And honestly, you'd be surprised when things knit up. You might fall in love with it, and it might be something that, when you looked at the skein, you're like, oh, it's pretty, and then when you knit it up, it's like, wow, that's beautiful. Never expected that. So do it, enjoy it, go for it. And then the last thing is Tiffany's gift box. So last episode, Hampden Hills Erica offered a giveaway, and she was super sweet, and is giving away a skein of her alpaca yarn, your color choice, so you can pick whatever you like. So I had 20 entries into the thread for that giveaway, and thank you everyone who put in their thoughts into that thread and submitted and wanted to win some alpaca yarn for Erica. We really appreciate that. And if you haven't, still go check her out in episode 3. You can watch that podcast, and there's a coupon code in there, and you can still go purchase her yarn with the coupon code. So I am new with this random number generator, so I kind of pulled it up on my iPad, and I put in 1 to 20 because I counted 20 entries, and just to show you if you can see it, there it is. And number 10, oh, there, right there, number 10 is the lucky winner. And so number 10, if I can find it, is Rosebob on Ravelry. And Rosebob, her first name is Rose, and she wrote that she would like to knit the windsheaf, and that she's always wanted to make something out of, or knit with that, and so now she'll have some alpaca to make it. So Rosebob, I can't wait to see what you knit up with it, and what color you pick, and how beautiful it turns out. So please make sure you link that into the Ravelry group, and I will contact you, and I will also contact Erica and let her know that you're the winner, and you can get in touch with her, or she'll get in touch with you and get you the skein that you want out to you, the color of your choice. Thank you so much everyone for joining that thread and submitting entries in there. I mean, it was just so much fun to see what you guys would knit, and I actually did click on things, and I did put my comments in there, and that's why there's more than 20 entries, because of my comments. But I wanted to say something back. I mean, it was my first giveaway that I was doing, and I love to see what you guys were picking, and it gave me some ideas for the skeins that I have of her alpaca, so it was great to see that. So I think that's it for today. I probably talked more than I should, but there's nothing new. And thank you for joining me at Knitting at Tiffany's. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you come back to watch some more. Have a great day.